Right then, another mini video. We've just got it back from cage, being sorted. Not sure when that video went out, but it's done. So we've kind of flipped things around a little bit. Previously we were going to do the strip art and refit of the seats at the track and see what difference that makes to lap time and stuff like that, but we decided that probably ain't going to work for what we want to do, which it's a shame really, because the mini seats were quite good, whereas the BMW ones were crap, so we'd have probably rather have done it the other way around and had the seats and everything in the BMW, but it is what it is. There's no point us taking that cage out when they've just spent all that time fitting it. We might as well leave it in and go from there. So the seats that are actually going in this and staying in it have finally arrived as well, so we'll look at them. Can't remember what they're called, but we'll put that up. I should always check stuff like this. But they're really nice, they're quite low. We put these in a couple of customers' cars recently. They're not cheap, but they are nice. But one thing we did notice, one of the guys was running harnesses on his and they were rubbing a little bit here, where the harnesses go through. So we've took off the factory sort of injection moulded part here, which it does look nice. And then we've put these on that we've 3D printed, which they don't look too bad from the front. Probably want a little bit of fettling, maybe blast them or something like that. And then we've screwed them onto the rear, which don't look as good. Don't know why we can't get the print good on the edges here, but it don't really matter too much. So these are going to be going in, and to fit these is going to be an absolute pig, because it's like Meccano, and I weren't very good with Meccano. So we've got the seat bases, they bolt in here with these factory holes, and then you've got a few options on what seat will bolt onto there then, width-wise. We've got the adjustable runners that should, I believe the runners will go on first. Maybe with these underneath, which do. So these are going to be like that and something like that. Then the runner on top, which I'm not going to do because I'll just keep falling over. And then you've got the slim side mounts that then will ride on top of that then as well. So there's just enough room to get all that in together, which I believe there is, yeah. It's all going to take some line up and sorting, but it's all a nice fit, it seems to be. I might be saying something otherwise. Yeah, that's, I've got a left and a right there when I should have a set, but anyway. So yeah, that's how that's all going to go. Hopefully it works. I don't generally like adjustable seats, so maybe we'll get that. You get a bit of play in them. So you didn't notice it on a factory seat with loads of sponge, but when you've got hardly any sponge, you do notice it. So we'll see, we'll get them in. And if I don't like a bit of movement in that, we'll just mark up where the seat is, take it out, take them out, drop it back on. And that should work pretty good. So the other thing that we're going to do today, part of the test that we're doing, we're running it on the standard tyres. So these are coming off, and the standard tyres that the car came with are going on, which it's got a mixture of some Dunlops and some Avons, so they're not bargain basement tyres, but they're not in good fettle either. So these are going to be dead by the end of the 2 days. How long we leave them on depends how we get on with the testing. So we're going to sort the interior out, take the wheels and tyres off, clean the interior out and put these mats in, which these are not new ones. It looks like somebody's dog's been laid on one of them, but anyway, they're cheap on eBay, so we'll just throw them in just to get rid of them horrible orange and black ones that are in. Quick service. The guys who we bought it off said it had been done, but they also said it had a good repair on front bumper, and yeah, it's not good. These spaces are required when we fit the wheels. We've got a spare towing eye, so we're going to put the front and the rear towing eyes in and leave them in, and then we don't have to mess about swapping. Might paint that, but we'll see. And then this little thing here is the seals that we need, and the gaskets and things when we do the swirl flap delete. So we've just done it on the BMW, and it was a fairly straightforward job, but the BMW had already started losing a little piece out of the swirl flap. They've got a bit of play in them, and it's not done stupid mileage. They're both very similar, so we're going to do that. We shouldn't have a problem deleting the swirl flaps and keeping the DPF and EGR, but we'll be the test dummies on that. It's very rare we leave a DPF and EGR in and delete the swirl flaps, especially the Volkswagen stuff. But we've been assured that we can just delete them independently and not have any problems. So fair few little bits and bats to do. We've not got a lot of time to do it in. And then we're going to come up with sort of alternative plan for when we get to the track, but we'll talk about that in the track day video. This is get it ready, and we might get chance to weigh it and see if there's any difference in weight from when we weighed it standard before, but maybe that's something we do after this track day if we ain't got a chance, because it's not going to make any difference. We're not corner weighting or anything like that, so wish me luck. So we finally got all the bits and bats done. I didn't do everything, so I'm not sure what footage we've got. You probably got a couple of me rounding bolts off when I put seats in and maybe swearing a little bit when I didn't quite know how things went, but second time round, a lot easier. So we've done the swirl flaps, there's a video of that. I think these ones were all right, weren't they, Paul? Not like BMW. Yeah, not like BMW with bits missing, so that's good. We weren't going to do the oil and filter, but I decided to just do the oil, and then I thought, well, I might as well do the filter, and what a pain in bum it is on this. It's got a little opening to let you get the oil out, but not one to get the filter out, so you might as well take the under tray off anyway. So, and then when I took oil filter out, drain bung started leaking again, so there were oil everywhere. But anyway, that's sorted, not too bad. We've not done the air filter because we're going to do a bit of testing with one of these programs, see what difference it makes on the dyno. So that's just left as it is. Done the fuel filter, which that's not an hard job. Not sure how good footage we're on that. So then inside, we've got the seats in, look really nice. At the minute we've not got the harnesses in. If we've got time in a bit, we've got everything available to be able to clip the harnesses in. I might just nick them out of the BMW and do it that way, but only on the driver's side. So on the passenger side, we're just going to have a 4-point, on the driver's we're going to have a 6-point, but they're not ordered yet, because we're going to order them next year, so we get another year on them, put them in the race cars, so that should be all right. So yeah, the kit come with everything we needed. The only extras we did, we changed the side bolts to 13 mils rather than Allen keys, because you can get a ratchet spanner in on the inside ones a little bit easier, so that works out a bit better. And on the rears especially, but for the ones that hold the sandwich plate and the base plate together, instead of using the Nylox at this end, we use some M8 serrated nuts, because you can just get in with your finger and buzz it and they grip in, so you're not having to try and get a spanner on the other side, and when you slacken them off, they come off as well. So that's pretty good. They move back pretty well. We've put eyelets on both sides on these so we can put the 4-point harnesses in, because you can't go into this because that's really deep in the sill. It's like a really long bolt. I tried looking at that first and that didn't work, so we've got an eyelet each side on this. What else was there to say? Oh, it might be a bit harder to see, but I need to cover this up anyway. But the kit come with these resistors and this little thing here, which I'm assuming is just another resistor. But basically, once we shove that into them 2 pins and that into them 2 pins, we've not got any warning lights now for the seat belts not being in and stuff like that. So I'll get that taped up and finalise. These better solutions, which I think Scott's ordered something a bit better for beam that plugs in, and you just clip it in and away you go. So we'll see how that is. So yeah, that's all sorted. So then the other thing, I filled this, well, last night I put the seats in, but it needed diesel in before we could do this next bit. So I drove home, put the diesel in, and then come back today and put the wheels on and everything. So we've got it on the corner weight scales, and it's got heavier. So it was 1250 or thereabouts last time. So we've got 30 kilos more. I reckon we've probably got 10 kilos more fuel, but when we're picking everything up, the seats themselves are really light, but then when you start putting a runner in, side bits, you put the cage in and stuff, we've added weight. The old stuff's not heavy what's come out, which that's all here. None of this stuff's heavy, it's all lightweight. The front seats are definitely heavier than the ones that we've took out, but everything else is not really heavy, so we've took out a bit of weight, but put in a bit more. But it's to be expected, unless you're going for a full gut and a race seat on fixed bases, you're not really taking much weight out of these. Obviously, taking out that weight, you don't really need it, which sometimes helps, but yeah, we'll see. So we're pretty much ready for the track day tomorrow. The only thing I need to do is put the cabin filter in, but I need to hurry up because my missus is taking this car now, and the next time I'll see it is tomorrow morning when I'm setting off down to Donington. So see how that works out.